Are you struggling with your new puppy and your resident dog playing well together? If so, stay tuned for today's behavior chat. In my previous video, we discussed whether or not you should get a second dog. If your answer was yes, you should get a new dog, and a new puppy in particular, then this video is for you. Puppies tend, and not everyone reads the rules, but they tend to be rowdy, obnoxious, jumpy, they bite everything, they pull ears, they're jumping on other dogs' heads, and they just can be quite the wild child. If your resident dog is older or has special needs or might just be more laid back, they might be looking at the new puppy like, what have you done? But let's back up a little bit. Let's say you're actually being very proactive and you want to learn how to make this process successful before you even bring that new puppy home. If so, thumbs up for you. If that's the case and your new puppy hasn't arrived yet, do check the video I have on if you should get a second dog before you go ahead and bring that puppy home, just to kind of cross your T's and dot your I's. So when you bring your new puppy home, instead of just rushing in the house with this bundle of joy and your new dog like, what is going on? You went out, I thought you were just going to the store and you brought this new creature into the home. If you have a second human in the house, have that person leash up your resident dog and you have the puppy leashed up and you go for a little walk up and down the sidewalk. If you're concerned about taking your puppy for a walk before he sees the veterinarian, that's okay. Then do this in your front yard or your backyard. But instead of just bringing the puppy in the house, take both dogs outside, walk the puppy around the yard, and let your resident dog follow that scent trail, allowing the resident dog to smell the puppy before introducing the puppy. So your resident dog is getting the opportunity to kind of sniff and smell and investigate this new creature. And then as you're walking around, as you and your puppy are walking this way and the second human and the resident dog are walking this way, continue that path and make a big circle so that eventually your puppy is now following the trail of your resident dog. So now your puppy gets the opportunity to smell the resident dog before, again, the head-on collision. If all's going well as you're doing your walks and circling, work at adjusting yourselves so that you end up parallel walking together. And again, head-on collisions aren't always the best thing. So you're doing a parallel walk and they're slowly getting the chance to see each other. This also works if you're already having problems and the puppy's already being a little obnoxious, because then your resident dog is getting the opportunity to hang out with this puppy and not have the puppy be in his face. That's going to be the key to help these two dogs have a great relationship instead of a love-hate relationship. I've been saying that the puppy's obnoxious. There are times when it's the opposite. The puppy's quiet and reserved and not sure what's going on, and the resident dog is more excitable. The scenario would be the same. You want to do things gradually and slowly. You're going to be working on preventing the excitable one from taking over the quiet one's space. And if you're outside still working on introductions, and everything seems to be going well, then what I like to do is we are going parallel. Now whichever one's more comfortable and happy, let them go first, and the one that's not quite sure, go second, and go in for a quick butt sniff. So here's the one that's a little more excitable and feeling comfortable, and here's the one that's not too shy. They're gonna go in for a quick sniff, and then we remove them from each other. So it's short and sweet. Short and sweet. And once that's going well, then you reverse it. So then we go in, short and sweet. Now, if any of the dogs are uncomfortable, they don't want their butt sniffed, don't force it, don't make them. And remember, short and sweet. If one of the dogs wants to jump up on the head, you know, and they're like, oh, I just want to bounce on you, that's what we want to prevent. We want to teach them how to have manners and what's appropriate. Even though dogs that know each other and they're friendly with each other, they usually can bounce on each other's heads once they build that relationship. The unknown dogs that don't know each other yet, that's usually not a good thing. It'd be like if I saw my best friend, I might rush up to them and give them a hug, but if I saw some stranger or someone that I just barely know, I'm not going to rush up and give them a hug because that's not appropriate. We want to kind of think about everyone having their own personal space and their own bubbles. So you can take the one that's more excited, squat down with that excitable one, kind of give them a little chest rub to kind of keep them still. I usually kind of rub that chest and I have my other hand kind of underneath their belly, while the quiet one kind of goes in for a quick sniff. I'm kind of keeping the excitable one's head this way so they're not swinging over to say hello to the shyer one. And then again, short and sweet. I don't want to do this with this dog if he's uncomfortable about what's happening. So I don't want either dog to be uncomfortable in a situation. So if he's uncomfortable, I'm not going to hold him there. And I'm not holding them still. I'm just kind of preventing that head from swinging around and investigating this one for investigating his butt. Once they had the opportunity to kind of sniff each other and it feels like everything's okay, and walk in together in the house. So maybe the new puppy comes in and then the resident dog follows, or the resident dog comes in and the puppy follows. Again, on leash at this point, leash and harness preferably, so we don't get any of that gagging, choking, and pulling them back. If you have a harness that has a clip to the front and the leash attaches, that will actually help turn that puppy around or turn the excitable dog around, so that we're, again, preventing the run on top of your head kind of behavior. Now, baby gates are a great way to kind of slowly introduce both dogs together. If at any point your dogs really seem uncomfortable and you're really concerned about the relationship and what's going on, please do seek a professional dog trainer, because they're going to be able to come in, see what's going on, help with the situation, talk about the best way and best places for management tools in your home, and to be able to evaluate both dogs. They'll really be able to help you fine-tune your dogs and introductions together. Now, when you're in the house together, while you're there supervising and watching everything that's going on, you might go ahead and take off your resident dog's leash so that he's not dragging that around, but you might have the puppy dragging a really light leash around. So that gives you the opportunity to grab it really quickly to remove the puppy if needed. Now, this is only if supervised, so you're not allowing your puppy or your dog running around the house with a leash on and you're not eyeballs on. So this is eyeballs on the puppy, eyeballs on the dog. I know exactly where they're at, so that leash isn't going to get tied up anywhere. And instead of just seeing what happens, try to interact with the puppy and try to interact with your dog. If you have two people, this is ideal because you can have one person kind of interacting with the puppy and the other person interacting with your resident dog, and telling your resident dog how smart he is, that this new puppy means good things for him too. He might be getting a treat. If your dog has any resource guarding over treats and food and things like that, please do seek a professional again. You want to get that under control. And in that case, food rewards or even toy rewards might not be the best option between the two. And again, this can be pretty serious, so please do seek a professional. And hopefully, if you knew your dog had resource guarding ahead of time, you're already working with a professional, because bringing that second dog in is just going to add to that anxiety and stress. One of the things that you're going to try to do is keep your puppy more focused on you and in toys and games and things that you're interacting with, versus there's another dog, I want to jump on his head, I want to jump on his head, let me pull your tail. Because you want your resident dog to be able to kind of, ease his way into it. I always think about buffering that resident dog. I want to make sure that the new puppy, and again, it could be vice versa. If the resident dog's more excitable than the puppy and the puppy's shy and reserved, then you're going to reverse these roles. Whoever's the one that's being more rowdy is the one that you need to focus on you and not the other dog. So you're going to watch the interaction between the two dogs. And if they're getting along and they're playing, that's great. Eyeballs on that puppy at all times, which you should be doing anyway if it's a puppy, because they pee and chew things so quickly. So eyeballs on, and if your puppy starts to go, I think I'm running and I'm going to run towards the other dog. And again, if your other dog isn't quite sure about all that, instead of allowing the puppy to run towards the other dog, make a squealy noise, puppy, 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 and get your puppy to come back towards you. We're going to try to buffer and prevent as much running towards the resident dog as possible. The beginning few weeks and months are what's going to make or break the relationship. If the resident dog thinks the new puppy is just nothing but an obnoxious mess and stopping all his fun, the new puppy has all your attention, the new puppy is jumping on my head, he's pulling my tail, that new resident dog is going to start getting aggressive and reactive towards that puppy. So we want to prevent all that stuff. If we can keep those introductions really low key and kind of a divide and conquer, then you're going to end up with two dogs that get along really well in the future. I would do a lot of puppy management at this stage with the new puppy and the dog so that there's not a whole lot of that bouncing on each other's heads. And again, that leash will help so that you can kind of reel the puppy in. You might be sitting on the floor or sitting on the sofa and your puppy has that 6-foot leash and your other dog's choosing to be somewhere else, and your other dog can kind of learn that he's got that 6-foot leash. So your other dog will start to learn that, oh, okay, it's safe for me to be over here. And your resident dog is also learning that you are going to keep him safe. And I think that's an important concept. We want our dogs to know that they can trust and rely on us to keep them happy, safe, and comfortable. And if your resident dog is not happy and not comfortable with that puppy, that's your job to keep him safe and keep that puppy away from him and teach that puppy how to interact with him, which will take time and patience. And that's what we're starting. Another management you can use besides just the leash is you can actually use baby gates or little baby playpens so that the puppy can be in the playpen, and again, the resident dog has the opportunity to kind of investigate what's going on. You can use baby gates the same way so that we can have the resident dog outside the baby gate for a while or the puppy outside of the baby gate. You can use the crates and you can rotate puppy having nap time and resident dog having mom and dad time, which I think is another important concept, is to remember just because we have 2 dogs or 3 dogs or 4 dogs, they're all individual dogs. And if we really want to have a good relationship with our dogs and we want our dogs to listen to us, especially when they're all together, when we have all the dogs together, then we have to do one-on-one training and relationship building and games and play with the dogs individually as well as eventually them together. So again, that bond only happens when we spend quality time with our dog. And if we want them to listen to us, come when called, sit, leave it, that sort of thing, those things are taught individually and then they can be taught together as a group. But if we don't spend that quality time with them, especially with our resident dog, if all of a sudden they were the baby in the house and it was 24/7 with them and they got their sofa time with us and we took them for walks and stuff, and now all of a sudden they got the little brother attached to them, they might not be happy about that. And when it comes to teaching dogs to walk nicely on a leash, I fully support individual walks. So even if that means dividing your walk time into half, so instead of a half-hour walk for one dog, it's 15 minutes for one dog and 15 minutes for the other dog. Because again, you're bonding and training at the same time. You want to really start to learn about your dog's body language and what their intention is. So if you're looking at that puppy and we do a quick little play bow and got that wild child face, and you know the puppy's getting ready to zoom and jump, make sure they're not zooming and jumping on the resident dog. Maybe the resident dog gets stiff, like uh-oh. That could be saying that that resident dog is not happy about what's going on. He might start growling because he's unhappy. And again, that's okay. Growling is okay. We don't want to punish the growl. And I have an article about that. I'll put the link below. We want to go, how do I fix this so my dog doesn't feel the need to growl? And more than likely, it's that space issue, that obnoxious puppy issue. And if you ensure that you get a lot of quality time and exercise and training with your puppy individually, like outside, out for walks, in the room separated from the other dog, you're going to help burn off some of that extra puppy energy. And he won't be so pent up, ready to dive at your new dog. Having 2 dogs or 3, 4, 5, 6 dogs can be quite the challenge. If you're really taking your time at watching what's going on and ensuring that the rowdy dog isn't going to overwhelm the quieter dog, then you guys will end up with a great relationship. And again, if you're having any problems, please do seek a professional. It's well worth the time and effort. And if you found this video helpful, please hit the thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And you can click the bell icon and you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. And if you want to dive deeper into your dog's behavior, training, and care, check out my Patreon page. The link is below. And until next time, remember to pause and enjoy life. And we'll see you in the next video.
Let me tell you a story about the baddest dog there ever was. Sneaking food from the fridge, tearing up the garbage. He's a goofy old Dexter the dog. He's a bad Dexter the dog. The baddest pup that there ever was.